Well, this is how we do it. We jump on Titan Tuesdays and get right to the people. What do we got crack-a-lacking today? Hey, today would be a great time for you guys to talk to our guy John, CEO of Titan Medical. And the great thing about that is he's I think of this, he's not just the what is it old the hair club for men. I'm not just a client, I'm also a user. So the same kind of thing here. For CEO of Titan Medical, John, he is taking the peptides, and you can talk to him about what else he's taking as he is coming back from surgery. I think this is kind of a cool thing. He's somebody that's really utilizing the HRT to help recover and continue to get in shape.
Best exercise to build shape / upper central chest area.
I would go with the mix, obviously, of barbell press and dumbbell press on inclines, and maybe even an over exaggeration of inclines, something even further than a basic incline that a bodybuilder would do. But I'd go even further than that. Let's bring on my big boy here. Dang. Showing the pipes and everything today. Look at that.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to get back to form here. I'm feeling better and better each day. So, especially in the gym, it's my happy place. And going back to a public gym after a couple of years, it's good. I like being in the public setting, man. It motivates me. I see everybody around me, the younger guys from the older guys. So it's a good thing for sure.
I love that. Yeah, I agree with you. And I go to Gold's Venice, and it's nice because I have these legends that nobody knows. These 70-year-old guys that are in there at 5 a.m, 4 a.m. with me. The old Mr. Americas, the old Mr. Universes and stuff. And the 20-year-olds don't know who they are, but the wisdom they have and the way that they train, I just watched going, okay, in 20 years, I got to be doing that. I got to be there still doing that.
Right.
And it's a great thing about the local gyms and the circle of friends that you're around.
Absolutely.
And so,
absolutely. I mean, I've never got to train in Gold's in Venice, so that'll be a treat for me, 100%. But Tampa, we've got a couple of good gyms around here, and it's a highly populated fitness industry area too. There's a lot of people that live in Tampa or the surrounding areas here, and they share the same enthusiasm, I guess, but nothing like Venice Gold's because there's just so much history out of that place.
The history, I agree with you, but Matt has some great gyms out there, and
absolutely,
Matt had a powerhouse out here, and it was honestly, give or take, 100 yards from my front door, where I used to live. I had the remember in Lethal Weapon where Mel Gibson lived. Okay, so it was the location, not the property, right?
Okay, I gotcha.
I had the ultimate guy place in the world because I would coach judo, and because I got to be one of the senseis there, I would have one of the bungalows. So
nice.
And it was a cross between that Mel Gibson. It was like, what a location. But also like Karate Kid. Remember the back of the junkyard was the sensei's location, and it was pure and innocent and serene. So I had this location that was unreal because it was a 1900 built house in the Asian community over there, and I taught at the Japanese Institute of Satel Judo, and I'd lived there, and it was in the most amazing place because I had restaurants on the backside of me, buildings on the round, and it was just a school right in the middle, and then powerhouse there. But long story short, Matt had a great powerhouse here. Then he moved out there, and he opened some powerhouses, and those gyms are badass. So big shout out to Big Matt out there.
Yeah, man. Powerhouse Gyms, Matt, Eddie, and all those guys, Johnny. Yeah, those guys. I mean, they got 2 great locations, one in Tampa and Hillsboro, and then one in Brandon, which is the brand new one. So they're doing pretty well. I'm supposed to go talk to those guys too soon. Big shout out to them, though. Yeah, their atmosphere, when they had the Powerhouse here in Channelside, literally like right down the street from where we are. I mean, there was nothing like it. You know, the people that came through there, and then the atmosphere, you know, that really does help you and motivate you, that atmosphere. I mean, I don't know, it's just something in the air, I guess, but you see these people busting butt and giving everything they got, and, you know, see the result too as well. I mean, it's motivating itself, man. You know, I don't know. It's always a good thing, you know, like I said, I've trained by myself for years and by myself, you know, with nobody around, and that's fine, but it's good to get back to a public setting. You know, could it be a little bit cleaner and stuff like that? Probably, but you know what, man? I like it old and gritty too as well. That's where I came from. It's the roots. So, and I got no problem with that, and I got no issue with it.
I don't mind. I don't mind a little nastiness in the gym. And then you guys,
that's right.
What's cool about Florida is you guys got so many of the big savages, the WWE guys, all the wrestlers, AEW, all those guys going through those gyms, and they train. You know, what I love about them is they train like savages. Not just when you're 20, which for me, I see just a lot of 20-year-olds training, and then by the time they're 30, the decline,
the drop off. Yeah,
but not when it comes to those guys that are still in the business, still have the tussle. And talking about tussle and having that fight still in you to get up, put in a freaking good workout, and stay on a nutrition plan, regardless of aging coming on. How is it that you get to, or your circle, you continue to do that? You continue to strive to be better. You don't settle. So tell me that, because I opened this whole show up today saying this is your opportunity to talk to somebody that's not just working with an HRT company. You're the owner of it. And you're also dealing with coming back from surgery and a couple shoulder problems. So I think it's just so beneficial. You have so much knowledge to give because you're in the trenches.
Yeah. So, you know, for me, like I said, you know, you got to have that drive. You got to have that motivation. What motivates you is different for everybody out there. Whether it's, you know, negative reinforcement or positive reinforcement. You know, like when I was growing up, my dad was always telling me, like, yeah, if you know, start doing this, you're going to be a little shrimp your whole life, you know, all that. And like that, you know, that drives me. That you tell me I can't, I'm going to do it for sure, 100%. And I got more fuel than ever in the gas tank. And I don't care how many times you knock me down, I'm going to keep coming back for you. You know, but there's some people that get turned off by that, and positive reinforcement works better. So it's all finding what works best for you, what really motivates you. And some people say, oh, I'm not motivated by anything. Well, there's something that motivates you for sure. There's something that gets you out of bed every morning, whether it's girls, whether it's money, whether it's, you know, bobbleheads, you know, whatever it is, you know, but something's going to drive you, you know, and you want to be better is the first start of it. I think it really does start with you. There's nobody that can say, hey, listen, you're going to get in shape, and whether you like it or not. And then, you know, at that point you're dragging them out of bed, and you're, you know, they're giving half-ass effort, you know. So I think that, you know, giving 100% of effort is the key thing too, as well. I mean, you know, self-motivate, self-effort, you know, for me, you know, I'm 42 coming back from another surgery. That's fine. Downtime wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in 6 weeks. But, you know, coming back strong, right? Like, you know, I already had a game plan in place before the surgery of what I was going to do while I was on downtime, what was going to take away my mind from what I was probably going to be feeling as depression, because I, you know, out of the gym for 6 weeks, not able to do any activities. I mean, you know, you're talking to somebody that gets out of bed, you know, I'll bust out 50 push-ups real quick before I get back into bed. You know, that's one thing, you know. So at that point, like, it really killed me not to do anything and not to be active. You know, walking around doing my daily routine as far as that goes, but lifting anything over 30 pounds, I wasn't doing. But coming back, you know, the nutrition plan, why I was off, that was one thing. The therapies obviously helped me out. You know, and peptides were part of that, those therapies, and peptides are leaving. So if you guys want peptide therapy, now's the time to get peptide therapy from Type Medical Center, because at that point I've been talking to pharmacies left and right about this. You know, I'm sorry to go off a little bit, but, you know, at that point, working on doing some different things, some different compounds and stuff like that. And there might be some workarounds for some of these peptides, but I got assurances from some of the different pharmacies that peptides will be around for at least 60 to 90 days more. So at that point, you can still get your orders in. They're still going to suffice, and they're still going to service the peptides. The ink's not like finally it's written and it's fresh. But, at that point, there's a petition going around, and I want everybody to sign the petition because we need to get this to the FDA, and we need to let the FDA know that, listen, there's a lot of big benefits that come with peptide therapy. And, just with coming back from the surgery, taking BPC 157, TB 500, GHKCU, right, for skin elasticity and all that good stuff. These are some of my key healing therapies. Of course, I have IGF-1, which is going to be around after peptides, in my HRT regimen, but these were essential with me coming back better than ever. I mean, that's how I like to say it, because when I went into my surgeon, and at that point, the surgeon's like, man, he's like, you're really healing pretty quick. These as far as your slices that I got, I got 2 slices. He said they're healing really nicely too as well. So, he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And so I'm like, all right, I will. That's what it is. But yeah, man, I mean, that's essential. I mean, doing that and then staying on track. A lot of people, like we've talked about before, when they have injuries, setbacks, they know they're going to be down from the gym. They just go full out blast and they start eating whatever they want at that point. You got to have some self-control. I think getting yourself on a routine is the best way to keep that, and consistency is key for anything you're doing in life, and especially with your routine and a healthy lifestyle. If you're eating consistently good all the time, you're going to feel better just like that, right? Naturally lose weight right away. I mean, it's astonishing, like how many people still drink pop and stuff like that these days. Like, what it does, but you still drink it. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't drink any pop these days. So, I mean, I haven't for a long time. And I like Coca-Cola products. I mean, I used to drink Crown Royal with my Coca-Cola, man. And that was everything to me. That tastes so good, but I know what it does, and I know the setbacks, and at that point, people still do it. I mean, it is what it is. So there's self-control that comes along with it, Mike, and being able to be motivated, or have somebody motivate you, I guess. If you can pay somebody to motivate you, you got a partner that's going to motivate you, then you're getting off scot easy. But, a lot of people don't have that out there. They're like, what am I going to do? Or, they get down on themselves and they just can't get out of that hole. You got to pick yourself up and keep rocking and rolling and move forward. And any progression is good progression.
Well, I'm taking notes over here because there's 4 things that interest me on what you just talked about. One of the first things you said was how your father talked to you as a kid. And what I love is that a friend of mine is Andrew Herberman, who's a professor at Stanford, who really just works off the neurons in the body and how the body functions and how it goes through, and emotion deals with your exercise and it gets so deep into it. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, what I love about that is he talks about the studies and the facts of the father that motivates by making you do it instead of praising you, in a sense. Mm-hmm. And I love that the research on this, and we'll have him on here to talk to him about it and have him state it. But the research shows that by that self-motivation, by the encouragement to do it, mm-hmm. relative to the praise, is tenfold better. It's an amazing study he did. And I want to just go into this because I think, me being a first-time father, I'm learning how to motivate him, or give him encouragement without pulling it away, and which is crazy because my parents were the same way as yours. Mm-hmm. They were encouraging, they were supportive, they were there, but they didn't mm-hmm. praise. And I think they didn't praise because, first of all, I have 9 older brothers and sisters, and they probably got all that praising out early. Yeah. But praising to the child, and again, you guys can go check out Andrew Herberman's discussion on this. Cool. I'm just relaying what the studies, not even what he said, but the studies show that the spike for the person that gets praise shoots quickly up, and then it diminishes and falls off completely. compared
Gotcha.
to the one that pushes, motivates him, doesn't praise every little thing. The praise is the hard thing to get, and that will set up the child to be more productive and a happier kid relative to striving for that praise and then dropping off. So
Right.
that's a side note for you parents. So don't feel bad if you're kind of a little tough on your kids. In my opinion, you should be.
I think you got to be.
You're setting them up, and especially, I mean, I don't think my parents need to be hard on us because we were just the 80s kind of kids. But today, if you're not set up strong emotionally, wow, you're going to be broken out there.
Big time. I mean, man,
so,
you know, it's not a pretty world.
We can go on this. I'm all right with it because I just think you have this son that is, he's at this stage where he is growing like incredibly, and he's in it, and he likes the fight. And so, you know, what do you do now to not praise him in the sense so he loses the love for what he's doing, but motivate and push?
So I was telling you, I'm like, listen, I'm like, you're gonna have to work harder than what you're doing. You think that you're working hard right now. You're not working hard. I'm like, there's people out there that are in the same position as you and they're working 2 or 3 times harder than you are. Whether it's better grades, they're progressing on the field better than you right now. I mean, there's a lot of people out there working, so you better step it up and you start really busting. I mean, you know, you give them praise when praise is there, right? Like if they actually have like a good game, like you had last game was a great game, right? Like you pitched really well, but here's some things you didn't do well, right? When you're in the batter's box, you didn't swing correctly, like you normally swing. You take, you know, your swing, you need to work on that. So you just, I don't know. There's always a negative to everything, I guess. There's pros and cons to everything. So, I mean, you want to point out the pros and point out the cons to them. Just be real. I think that's the biggest thing too. Some people aren't real with their kids, and they set up unrealistic expectations of what things are going to be like to come in the future. And at that point, if you're not like just straight up honest with your kid, you know, some issues, they're delicate issues. So at that point, you still got to talk to your kids about these issues, and you know, the best way you possibly can. And, you know, it's hard because kids are kids, and teenagers are teenagers, and all the different things out there, and influences, and friends at school, and it's a whole different environment than when we were in school. Even when we were growing up, like me and you both, we never had social media growing up in high school, and that's a whole nother pressure side of things.
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, showing up to school and being accepted by, you know, the group that you want to be in, and not get picked on. That was the big thing back then. Now, I mean, man, you got to have, you know, this live profile on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, your Snapchat. No, I mean, this is the new thing for these kids. So, you know, just on that's pressure alone. I mean, the kids nowadays are susceptible, and they're open to everything that's going on in the world, and they have it at their fingertips, literally with their phone, and they can look up anything. So, I mean, you know, it's kind of scary, but, you know, you gotta set those morals, ethics, and values and instill in your kids right off the bat, and stick with them and be consistent with it. And at that point, if you got to be the bad guy, sometimes you're not supposed to be their best friend, right? Not in every situation. Yes, you're there as a friend for them if they need it. But when it's time to crack the whip as a parent, you need to crack the whip as a parent. And if you don't, you're going to get ran all over, and it's going to set the tone for them to do it to other people. And then at that point, it's just going to be on a bad path. I mean, I see some of these kids, they go unchecked, and you can tell that it's starting at home because they let them get away with it. They let them run over them, and then they start running over other people. And just, I mean, that's a representation. Your kid's a representation of you as a parent. So at that point, if they're representing bad, then obviously looks bad on you. That's why when you used to go over a kid's house, you'd be like, you better be good when you go over Sally's house, because if I get a report from their parents, your ass is grass when you get home. I mean, nowadays you can't say that to your kid. I mean, you get in trouble. It depends on what state you're in. I mean, you get arrested right on the spot, or they'll take your kid away from you. So, you know,
we threaten that if he starts acting up, we're going to send him to Romania to live for a year. He'll come back straight. One is like, you go live with our cousins over there in Romania, then come back when you're ready.
I mean, honestly, you know, some of these guys, they stay the night or a week in some of these different countries, they would come back, and it would be a humbling experience for sure. 100%. They would not act the way they would, because it wouldn't be accepted over there, or the punishment over there would be way, way more severe than what they're getting over here. 100%.
I got to, and I was talking to him last night, a buddy of mine that, we did a movie called The Barbarian, where I played the barbarian and he was the evil counterpart. Great guy, big Russian, my size guy. And we did this movie in 1999, 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 6 months in Russia, Ukraine, and Lithuania. And what an eye opener. First off, just, first of all, I'm over there filming a movie. So you kind of go, oh, well, you had it nice. I had it nice, but I'm not ignorant. I could see how my translators and how the people that were on set were living. And I could comprehend enough going, I got it pretty good. America.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. I got it pretty darn good. Even if I wasn't doing the movies, you got it pretty good in America compared to having a job over there. That being said, the times have changed so much that I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you feel bad saying things like, I got to be a discipliner. I got to be hard on him. I got to do that. And it's the time that we live in. It's interesting because my parents had no problem saying, no, you do something, I'm spanking your ass. You're doing something bad, I'm locking you out. You're home at 9.
Yep.
When those lights go off on the street or the door's locked.
Yep.
How many times do you think I go, oh, okay. I'll stay out past 9. Let's see if you lock the door. Oh, they locked the door on me. They locked the door. I'm thinking into the garage, putting newspaper over me up in Washington State, trying to stay warm. But I'm glad that happened. I'm so glad that happened. They have 10 kids. And if they're babying 3 of us or 1 of us, it's like you got 10 kids. They're trying to feed us and keep us home.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need a baby. That's it. And I feel bad that we have to protect what we say about being parents. And you and I want the best for our kids. Yeah. And the best for our kids is not being their buddy and giving them cookies every day, which they want. It's about eating healthy. It's about putting in that freaking work.
That's right.
And what I love is that the studies are showing now that's the kid that grows up mentally strong and physically strong. So
that makes sense. It does. It makes sense. I mean, how many people in our generations were taught like this or motivated like this? I mean, a lot, man. We start babying things and participation trophies and all these things that go and collide with this, and it's setting up an inferior and beta type generation going forward, especially for men.
We got some questions there already. I love that. People are coming in. I do want to talk to you, and I'm going to jump back for a second. Because you talked about peptides, and they're going to be out for another 90 days. I just talked to an attorney, Rick Collins, who's been in the health and fitness world for decades. And he was just explaining how this came about and why the FDA is doing this. And he didn't say the irony in it, but I see the irony in it. It's like, oh, peptides are so bad, but you can still go get cigarettes. All right, cool deal. But it was a great discussion. And coming back to you, he's on that legal side of what he knows, how it came down and how it came to fruition, I guess you would say. You're in the war. You're in this going, hey, this is a beneficial thing. How do we keep it? And this last week I know has been crazy for you.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you know of right now that is going to prolong the peptides for longer than 90 days or anything?
I mean, other than pharmacies kind of going rogue and doing what they want to do, that's the only thing I can see out of it. I mean, distributors still got the powders. I checked with a couple different pharmacies because they're all having big meetings about this. Don't think they aren't. They are, and I mean, they're in contact with me daily about what's going on, what they're planning on doing, and there's a lot of different ways that they're talking about going around this. And for me, I've been a legitimate guy for 11 years. With Titan Medical Center, I've never done anything gray area. I've been very conservative. Our practice is conservative. So I don't want to do anything to get in trouble or to put me in harm's way. Obviously, it's having the family, having the business, I don't want to get any trouble. But there are places out there that are talking about, having the site for the wholesale distribution and doing the testing from a pharmaceutical level and compounding level. I don't know how they're going to do that because in the United States, the FDA rules, and the FDA says that they don't want to do that. So whether they're coming from an outside source, like some of these pharmacies have pharmacies like in Dubai. Mm-hmm. So if they can import it from Dubai per se, and they get around the compounding portion, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be really tricky, Mike. They're looking at different compounds, though. I can tell you, for growth hormone releasing hormone peptides. So there's only so many sequences that CJC has as far as the amino sequence. There are other sequences and growth hormone releasing hormone peptides that aren't banned. So those could be coming forward. There are some different ones, but the whole point is that so many patients have already benefited from some of these, just BPC and TB500. Let's just name those two. I think the big play would be, to sign the petition, get as many signatures as possible, because that is really what is going to turn the FDA's hand and say, listen, we'll take this back. That's the only way it's going to happen. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And the longer that it goes, the more concrete and sealed it's going to be, I think. I'm sure. Listen, Rick he's an expert in the field. I mean, he's defended some huge steroid cases. He knows all the law. I mean, that's his thing. Like, that's his niche. So, I mean, he'll probably have some insight. I mean, why they wanted to ban peptides. What did he say as far as for banning peptides? Did he have any, like, this is why they want to ban? Because usually they only ban, like, or they go after one at a time. They brought out, I mean, the mega list. They're like, and the exact same reasoning for every one of them is like, okay, guys, like, what are we doing here? So what did he say?
He got into it really well on how it came up, and it almost seems like how would you say this? The layman's point of view on this is these people have to do and spend so much money on a drug to get the research done to appease the FDA to get it out there, where these guys did no research on it. And so the FDA, these guys are complaining, going, we spend this kind of money and you guys don't spend nothing and go do this. So it seems like a little tattletale kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
Which
Big pharma.
But I was bringing up an analogy. It's new day and age. And also this seems so minor in the world of FDA, that this is something that let's spend all the time on and ban this. Okay, they're just going to put it on the black market. Now we do have issues because the kids are taking whatever it is.
Right.
So
that's a problem.
His point of view is just basically the outlining of why it happened, why it came up, and then the financial part of this aspect.
It's all about the money.
He has to stay level-headed and stuff, but
of course
it just seems so shady to me. Because I mean, think of this. One of the first statements was, well, this is the FDA, it's not the government. And I'm like, oh, great. So like, that's why I'm so happy about the vaccine, because that was the FDA, not the government. Really? Really? Was it though? Right. That's called sarcasm, everybody.
Right.
So it's like, okay, and you can still buy cigarettes, and cigarettes seem to be really, really healthy for you, right?
They've proven it. I mean, if there's a warning on the pack, put a warning on the label then. At that point, and let it be the person's choice. If it's on the label, hey, listen, this could have some serious effects. All right, cool. Then it's on the label, and you know what? Somebody signs a waiver or whatever it may be. I mean, they're that worried about something. Because technically, if Titan Medical Center wanted to run a research campaign on any drug that we had or therapy that we had, some people could sign off on a research waiver and still take the drug, because it's for research purposes only. We're not selling it. So I mean, there's different things that these people are talking about doing. I mean, unless something's concrete, I don't know if it'd be worth the squeeze. I wouldn't want to do anything illegal or put anybody in a bind or anything like that. It's just, it's just crazy. But it's a money play, and it's big pharma. I mean, flexing their muscles and their lobbyists, and
I got
FDA's doing what they want.
It's I don't care what happens to big pharma. They're just making anyway,
billions of dollars.
Yeah, man, I love America, and I love that we have so many opportunities here. But to think the government's on our side all the time, where they're not making their money, that's another discussion. You guys enjoy. I love it. Enjoy your world. With that being said, I want to go to two more subjects.
Sure.
Because you're coming back from the surgery. You're coming back from building those shoulders healthy again.
Yeah.
Did you, while you were dieting and not training, did you add in carbohydrates for the recovery, or did you
Sure.
not change your nutrition at all?
I didn't change my nutrition at all.
What was the reason for that?
So I've been so consistent with my nutrition that I don't think I need any change.
I'm sorry. Did your calorie intake change? Better.
I went down on calories, I think, a little bit. I might have went down a little bit, as far as that goes, because I wasn't going to need the calories. Usually I need a little bit more carbohydrates and stuff like that when I'm going to have a workout the next day or later on that day. I might have some, so that's changed a little bit. I mean, I lessened up on the carbohydrates. The protein factor, I didn't change anything.
Okay.
Because I'm like, listen, my body, if I don't want to go into catabolic and I don't want to lose anything I got, and at that point, the more protein, the better. Carbohydrates, I'll the bare minimum of what I need to function properly mentally. But physically, I mean, I'm good, man. So I mean, I could honestly, Mike, I could take away carbohydrates altogether out of my diet and not have a problem. I mean, literally, I could probably just eat proteins all day long. Do I like carbohydrates? Hell yeah. I mean, like some white rice definitely gets me going, or like, if I get a chance, if I do get some really, really good home cut French fries, that would maybe go spastic, I guess. But I mean, I do the carbohydrates because I need them for what I know. I'm like, listen, my body needs to build. It needs carbohydrates to build. It needs it for more energy. So that's kind of what I did. But nutrition really didn't change for me at all, man. I mean, I've been on the same nutrition plan for so long that I felt like if I changed it, I was either going to lose a lot of weight or, I was going to go off the beaten path and start eating things that maybe I shouldn't be eating.
Yeah.
So at that point, I just want to stick in the routine. I'm like, if I stick in my routine, I'm not going to get off anything. It's going to be the exact same thing. The only thing that I'm missing right now is my training, and I'm going to set up how my training is going to look like when I get there. And then at that point, have a plan. So that's kind of what I did. I mean, but right now, I mean, I've upped carbohydrates, a little bit more, about a half a cup each meal, to more what I was at. So at that point, hopefully that'll help me build a lot quicker. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the final product looks like in a couple of weeks.
You're always on point. I've noticed this just spending time with you too at the house. Just my recommendation for somebody out there, if you are dealing with an injury, the research goes back to bring up the carbohydrates a little bit, feed the body a little bit, and again, especially if you're younger, you young athletes, if you do something happens during the baseball game or football, take your calories. Don't run away from calories. And John was always, like he said, he's always taking in the right amount of protein to keep that muscularity. And then now he's back to training so he can take his calories up even a little bit more, like he was talking about. So it's great insight on coming back from this stuff and continuing to work. What's the question there, Jeffrey?
It says, what peptides would you recommend instead of a cortisone injection?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, BBC 157 and TB 500 all day, every day, guys. That's what I use for my shoulders. And you know what? I have used cortisone before, but you cannot use cortisone a lot. And if you use cortisone a lot of deterioration of ligaments and all other different things that can happen. So I see people abuse, especially ex-athletes, professional athletes, because you're hurt. A trainer goes in, cortisone shot, man, you feel like $1 million, and then you're out there playing, and then you're really hurting yourself. At that point, cortisone is a false mask of symptoms. It takes away the inflammation, so you feel a lot better. You're like, oh man, I'm back to $1 million. But 3 months later, 4 months later, you're starting to feel that pain again. So it really masks the pain. And then at that point, when people feel like they're $1 million, they don't adhere to the warning. Don't go back in training 110%.
But they feel good, Johnny.
Dude, oh man, Drew is my number one thing on this guy. I'm like, Drew, don't do this. Okay. Oh, I feel great. Oh, I'm gonna do 5 plates. I'm like, dude, man, come on, Drew, come on, bro. So it's something like it's it is what it is. So you have to think about these things and just make sure, like, because if you do use cortisone, you're gonna feel good, and at that point, you're gonna go back and you're gonna start doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing. So it's better to feel the pain, and that's why the pain's there. It's to tell you, don't be doing all these things. Or if you do it like this, it's going to hurt you. And you shouldn't be doing it like this right now. So that's just something you got to listen to your body. Your body is telling you these things. if you listen to your body, you'll be a lot more healthier, and you'll get to the root of the problem a lot faster. It's when you start masking the symptoms, and then other things start going wrong, and then you really can't pin down to what really is the issue here.
I love that you said that. It's so cortisol is basically masking it compared to the BP, the peptides, which again available, and the number is right there at the bottom of the screen, that are helping rebuild it. So the one's just covering it up, going, hey, enjoy the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever, of not feeling that pain, but it's still there, and it's getting only worse relative to the peptides. And again, right there. But
there's a lot of people using like Nandrolone, like for joint areas. Like Nandrolone is masking the problem, right? That's not helping. So at that point, people, you got to understand what's going to help you, and look at the risk versus the benefit reward system here. Both of those are going to reward you negatively. They might help beneficially for a couple months, but it's something that you can't do permanently. It's not going to permanently last. Even if you get cortisone shots, it's going to weaken and weaken and weaken through the time. And like me, I will have to have surgery on my shoulders one day. I'm just delaying the inevitable right now, and getting through what I can get through, and trying to help myself heal as fast as possible, or even any better than what it is. Because if I can heal it any better, or it can fix itself, then I'll be great. But we'll see how it goes. I'll just keep using BBC until I can't get it no more.
Something else you said that I so agree with and live by is, if you feel the pain, you'd want to feel the pain. If you're moving through an exercise and there is a hiccup in that move, understand what's going on. And again, for me, like anytime I do any exercise, I'm moving it through first to feel if the body's functioning and shooting right and everything's working. And then if I do feel a hiccup, I try to work through it and force blood into that location. And still to this day, that works for me. It doesn't matter if my back is tweaked, my shoulders tweaked, my knees are tweaked. By the time I get done with those basic warm-ups, the body feels good. It feels healthy, and you force blood in that location, which is helping heal it.
Of course.
But I'm also not masking it and going, hey, I can go to 700 today. Maybe 500 is great.
Right.
So
that's smart, Mike. That's definitely a smart way to do it. And you've got years of experience doing it. So at that point, if it works, it definitely works. I mean, and you should be able to feel things. And if you start working through, because, I see some of these guys, and the other guys I talk to, and it's like, they're doing some are using painkillers and stuff like that to get through some of these pain and stuff like that. And they're working through. I'm like, dude, this is a bad path to go down. One, these things are highly addictive. Two, you're not feeling any of the pain. So if you do have pain or something's wrong, you're just going to be hurting yourself even more, man. So it's something that people really need to look into. Of course, listen, if you're hurting and stuff like that, you want to try to alleviate the pain. But when you're working out, you're not going to take painkillers or subside the pain or be numb to it when you're starting to work out. It's just a bad method to do. I think it sets the wrong tone and message for people out there too as well.
I understand movement is the ticket and the golden ticket, and you got to keep moving. But again, you want to understand what's going on with your body. Yeah. Don't walk on a broken leg.
Definitely not, man. It's. So I don't care or anything. I'm like, all right, I'll sit back. We'll see how you are in the next 20 years when you hit 40 or 50 years old. And they're like, I can't do anything. And back in the day, I used to bench 450 pounds. Like, okay, back in the day, what are you doing right now? I talked to a lot of these guys, because they all see me. It's like, to a certain extent, whatever. They want to know what I do in business or what we do at Titan, or they always, you're a trainer or whatever. So I'm like, listen, if you could do it back then, you could probably do it now. But what happened in between? It's funny.
That is one great thing.
Try to help a lot of those people get back.
One great thing is I do see the funniness in the, hey, I benched 400. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it was 25 years ago, but now that being kicked out of the window, memory muscle and strength are two amazing things for anybody that has lost their path, who has stopped working out, who has for some reason maybe had an injury and never went back. Just know that stuff is the greatest thing about memory muscle. Will come back quickly, much quicker than basic muscle. Your strength comes back even faster than, and I love these studies that come out finally at this day and age. These are the studies I like. How strength comes back with the nervous system so quick. So it's like these people go back in the gym. I've been back in the gym in a month and I've already changed so much more before. So I'm doing so much better. It's like you were there, right, and now we're here, and it's just it's the same stuff. But what's great is that you can then talk to Titan Medical at that age and make sure that everything is functioning right now. Because if that stuff is coming back and you're moving and motivated again to do this after a long layoff, maybe there's something else that you can do to help you stay healthier and I guess at the end of the day, just optimize your body at 100%, like we always say.
Absolutely. And the other thing about it is that some people, when hormones start declining, it actually unmotivates you. Like one of the questions, that we ask is like, are there any hobbies or sports that you used to play that you're unmotivated to do nowadays? And, usually the answer is yes, and they have low T. So it will help motivation, self-confidence come back, because a lot of people lose this, especially guys, when their testosterone goes down. They start feeling down in the dumps, depressed, unmotivated, unconfident with themselves. So these are things that you can check with just a blood test. And right now we're running a special on blood tests. So at that point, it's $130 for males, $200 for females. There's more tests in the female panel, so that's why the price is different. And nationwide, we can set you guys up. And at least you guys have the information to make an educated decision about what you guys want to do with your health or what you want to do to improve your quality of life. Because quality of life can always improve for anybody out there. Me, Mike, you, whoever it is. It's just, what are you going to do and what are the steps you're going to do to help improve your quality of life and see really what's going on. And health is number one thing. And I say without your health, you're not getting out of bed. I'm not doing this live with Mike right now. I'm not seeing my wife. I'm not seeing my kids. I'm not having fun. I'm dying in a bed, right? And you don't want to be that person. So, you have one life to live it the best possible way you can at the highest quality of your health too as well. I mean, that's key. Longevity is key, right? How long can you live feeling the best you possibly can, right? And hopefully I want to live till 90 or 100 years old and I'm still feeling good, body's looking good, everything's right. Hopefully that'll be the plan. And that's what everybody should be out there for, because you always want, if you have kids, you always want to see your kids grow. You want to see your grandkids. You want to see all this stuff. And at that point, like without your health, you're not doing that. So, get your health in check. And if you haven't had your health in check for so long, that's even more of a motivator to get checked to see what's going on. And if you are, and you want to make sure you're in optimal ranges, get checked and see what's going on. And you guys have all the information in front of you guys.
Hey, here's another one for you, Johnny.
Yep. Do you recommend plasma injections for healing joints? Yes, PRP. PRP is going to be an amazing thing. Titan Medical Center is going to be full blast in all these different things. PRP is amazing. It's done amazing things for a lot of people, and whether it's hair loss, joints, inflammation, facial rejuvenation, vaginal rejuvenations. There's so much, and you're talking about your own blood. It's not a foreign substance to you at all, which is great. You're literally pulling the blood from the patient, spinning the blood down, getting that plasma, that awesome yellow and rich plasma, and then injecting it into the patient, re-injecting their own plasma. So an amazing health effects. So at that point, I would definitely recommend PRP for a lot of different things.
Yeah, and I mimic his statement. I think it's a great thing, and stem cell, but I do know that stem cell is something that you can't really get to here in the States, but you can do PRP. And again, Titan Medical in the near future will be doing that.
Yep.
So,
honestly, man, if they could do it before, I know like some places were doing PRP and they were mixing BPC 157 in there. I mean, think about that. Yeah, I mean, so they were doing some crazy little mixtures. I don't know if
now, see, that's a cocktail I would drink.
But that's what I'm saying. There's some different things. Like, I've seen some different things from some different physicians around the world. Because you look at the United States, it's so restricted in kind of what they can do, what they can't do. So you start looking at some of these world famous doctors and what they're doing in other places, and there's some amazing like gene editing and all this stuff is going on in real life. Like that is some cool stuff, guys. I mean, it really is. It's breaking. It's groundbreaking for sure, 100%.
I was just watching and reading up and watching these about the gene therapy and all this, and it's like I can't fathom what our kids are going to be like in 20, 30 years, what they're going to know. And things are moving so much quicker.
I know.
It seems like every decade it just speeds up even faster and faster. And so it's going to be interesting to see what is available and healthy for our kids.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it's like that's why I was so bummed out, because I fully believe on the connective tissue is the most important thing for the body, and to have something like the peptides being pulled away from us is, for me, it hurts, and just because I believe in it.
It's detrimental, and that, you know, it is detrimental what's happening, and a lot of patients are upset about it. And they're all signing the petitions for me. So at that point, I'm sure the other clinics are doing it, pharmacies are doing it. You know, just got to get those lists and get the petition signed, and hopefully that'll do some good for our cause.
Yeah,
you
know, I hope so.
Man, you're right. I mean, I'm one user, and I'm telling you guys, the benefits that I've gotten through the years from BPC and TB alone, I mean, I couldn't get from anywhere else. I mean, you know, without painkillers or cortisone or NSAIDs, I don't want to take that stuff. And it has negative effects on your liver or your kidneys. So, you know, these are things that I didn't want to deal with either. Or, you know, breaking down ligaments in your body, or degeneration. It's just not good stuff, guys. So,
right now, does Titan Medical have BPC 500 and the TB in stock?
Sure. So the pharmacies do have it in stock. So no medications come from Titan Medical Center. They all come strictly from U.S. licensed pharmacies. But they do have stock for sure, 100%. There are some pharmacies that they've told me that they're just done completely. They have stock, but they're not gonna.
They're just calling it quits.
They're gonna call it quits. But those pharmacies, you know, that have called me, I really don't do a lot of business with, and they've been regulated by the FDA before. So, you know, if they're already on the radar, it would probably be a good idea for them to get off of the radar of this particular thing, because they will come a knocking, and you know, you don't want those guys. I mean, any of those organizations come a knocking, it's not a good thing. It's fines, you know, you have to go back and forth. You know, it's on public record on the FDA site, FDA.gov. You know, you don't want things like that. So, you know, I understand why they want to do it too. And it's, you know, it's some tough decisions for those pharmacies out there, what they're going to do. Clinics, a whole different story. You know, the thing about it is, you know, it's like Dr. Robert Goldman, right? I know you know him very well. Peptide Society. I mean, guys, I can't tell you over the years how big peptides have got, and how many different courses like the American Anti-Aging Association, like A4M, like have put out, and like providers have spent so much money and knowledge how to do these protocols, treatments. I mean, it's just, wow. I mean, guys, it's just crazy. Like, it is crazy over the regulation, and just, and then all that just comes tumbling down. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. I'm still in shock.
Yeah. Speaking of Robert Goldman, I know that he does his longevity with all the doctors in December in Vegas.
Yeah, A4M.
Yeah, and so we'll definitely be there. I don't know if you guys are going to be there, but if you are, that'd be a great weekend.
Yeah, so usually it was last couple of years has been in Vegas. Before that, it was previous in Orlando. We used to go every year. We're members of the A4M, but at that point, we're probably going to come out there. We're going to try to come out there for this one because of what's going on.
Right.
And everybody will be out there so we can all talk in person. And if there's not anything done before previous, then maybe we can get a game plan together of how we're going to move forward, or there's some other solutions, because that's what it is. I mean, it's a trade show with our industry. And if you're anybody out there, every pharmacy's there. I mean, you go there, you know, you talk, you know, and you start networking, and you start figuring out game plans of how we're going to topple the FDA or the government, or how we're going to service patients better.
I love that I got to be friends with Dr. Robert Goldman for so long. got to go up to his house here. I think it was like a month or so ago in Montana. Wow, it's a museum. If you ever, holy cow, it's a 40,000 square foot museum.
Wow.
He has amazing. He's a collector, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's amazing what he has there. But his knowledge about health and longevity. This is one of those guys that's in the forefront of it. He's still such a savage and a fellow martial artist. He's a beast of a human. But again, it kind of shows you what you can do if you lead a healthy life.
Yep.
You know, and so we were talking about all the peptides while we were there and what he was doing and how he stays so active and healthy. Again, you know, doing these finger push-ups he does at his age is like just impressive.
He was doing finger push-ups with you?
Yeah, he was. He had to. He kind of goes, I don't know if you could do this, and so he challenged me. We were getting a workout.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he started doing his finger push-ups, and I was like, okay, I got this. But just another one of these guys that we know, like the attorney that we were talking about earlier, Rick and Dr. We got such a circle of friends that we can talk to that are so next level. And I wish that next level was just common level for everybody to have that. Yeah. Because if you do, it's that circle of people that you're around, right? Yeah. It goes always back to that. Who you're around, you become.
Sure.
You're around savages all day long. You're these people that only want to get better. Even if it's 1 foot today, you know, just a step forward today. So what does that do for you and the people that you're around to have that for you? And what's your recommendation to these people out there that don't have that circle of friend? How can they start changing their lives a bit, like going to a gym, a local gym, maybe a hardcore gym, not just a basic, what's the one that, no, the one that kind of caters to the snowflakes. Isn't it Planet Fitness? Oh,
Planet Fitness for sure.
Okay, so yeah,
they got the lunk alarm and the whole nine. Like you can't run in there.
He said, what is this? What is that alarm?
Get the lunk alarm?
Yeah.
Have you've never seen these commercials? Oh my God! They are pro, like, against, like, bodybuilders, like pro against it. Like their commercials literally have bodybuilders like, "What's up, bro?" Like, "What's up, bro?" Like, you will not have this. This is like a big X that comes through, or the lunk alarm starts going off. It's literally an alarm that will go off if you're in there. Like if you're in there and, like, let's say you grunt, the lunk alarm will go off and you'll be kicked out of Planet Fitness. I mean, it's hilarious to me. Like, you know, on their member appreciation days, they're serving pizza. So you know what kind of place that is, right? You're going to give you guys pizza, but they're trying to lose weight. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? But yeah, so yeah, Planet Fitness, I would definitely not go into Planet Fitness ever. I mean, I just because of what they've done. And, you know, it's not to say, like, you know, okay, fine. The stereotypical bodybuilder, all right, you don't want that. But, you know, at that point, like, there's people that might have a bodybuilder physique that are not bodybuilders, and you're treating them or you're categorizing them as that. And then that's the way that they're going to act. And that's not true either. So it's stereotypical of this place to do it. But it's just so unorthodox. Usually you're trying to get people through the door that are more fitness related and look good. Because let me tell you, if somebody goes into a gym where everybody looks the part, just like Powerhouse or MI40 or whatever it is, people are going to attract to that. And people want to go ask those people information. If you have a gym and it's of regular people and everybody is just out of shape, right? Everybody is 60 pounds over. What motivation? That might motivate somebody that's 60 pounds out of shape that's scared to walk through the door and be intimidated by those people. But they're not getting any knowledge or no motivation from those people either. You know, I think that, you know, surrounding, we were talking about the environment, the vibe that you're getting, the energy that's getting pushed out. You know, that's key. And setting yourself apart from maybe people that are holding you back. If you're around people, you know, crabs will keep just bringing you down in the barrel, right? You want to go to people that may be better than you to a certain extent. You have to admit that and learn from those people. And then you start surrounding yourself with those people. Whatever you want to be, you need to go and you need to start learning about whatever that is. And you need to go to the most credible sources you possibly can. Does that mean you got to go pay an influencer or somebody that's a self-motivation coach $50,000 or $60,000? No, not up front, but you can go get more free information. The internet's out there, and you can learn whatever it is, and then you start entrenching yourself in that. And that's, I mean, everybody asks me, like, hey, John, how did you come up with Titan Medical Center? I got asked today, like, how did you come up with Titan Medical Center? Like, you know, what made you want to do this? Like, how did you even get the idea for this or what you're doing? Like, because I seen it, I knew it, I wanted it, and you know what? I started researching and putting the puzzle pieces together. And that's really what it is. People don't want to do the work. And I tell Charisse and I tell my son this all the time. Charisse, when she's complaining about the workload, and my son, when he's complaining about whatever the hell it is, it's that if it was so easy, everybody would be doing it. The point is, it's not that easy. And that's why you get such a great reward for what you're doing, right? And if it was that easy, it wouldn't be anything of value because everybody would have it and everybody's doing it.
I think
so. You know, that's what it is.
Something you said earlier was, and it's funny because I'm at Gold's Gym Venice. This intimidating when you hear it. I've heard this being said by people. Oh, I don't go to Gold's Gym Venice. That sounds intimidating. What I love is the mindset of the individuals that come through that door, because not everybody is Lee Haney, these Mr. Olympias. They're not. What's awesome is their mindsets may be, because I see all the time very overweight people, men, women, coming in there, and they train like animals. And it's a cool thing to see. So I think it's a mindset, and it goes back to the whole question, the circle of friends. What's their mindset? Are they like, no, it's not intimidating. I know I'm overweight. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to train like a beast. And that's respect. Right.
Yeah.
Instead of going, absolutely, I just want to go 100%. Over to this kind of Planet Fitness kind of place and just kind of hide away. Attack it. Attack that stuff, man.
Honestly, I think it'd be hilarious. You did a little spoof in there. It was like Planet Fitness.
Let's go get a workout in there tomorrow. Let's go to Planet Fitness to get a workout in. You guys are gonna see me get banned for life.
Oh man, that'd be classic, dude. Go right underneath the Uncle Arm for it, tune on video.
I just want to see Mona walk in there with her arm sleeves cut off and start out benching all the guys that are in there. Yeah. Who's going to carry the boat? Well, not somebody that's benching 95 pounds, that's for sure. No offense.
Oh, man.
Johnny, thank you again for doing this today, man. I appreciate it.
Love going with you guys.
This is
it's great. Great talking to you guys.
Oh, this is so good. I think again, don't feel bad about how we're raising our kids. We do an old school approach of motivating, supporting, not always praising.
Right.
So, and there's so much more to go. But like my discussion this morning with the attorney, Rick, and talking now with John, peptides are going to get pulled. So if you're going to do them, my recommendation is get going right now. Call over to Titan Medical, 727. You see the number right down there below? My eyesight, I don't got my glasses on. Right there. There we go.
Thanks, Mona.
Mona helping out here. Johnny, I'll give you a call back after the wrap up.
Yes.
And,
yes, sir.
We'll talk. I have some good news. So we'll talk to you guys. Everybody else, have a great day today. Titan check-ins in a couple weeks here. So make sure to get on over there. And then we're going to be trying to get something out to Johnny. If you guys want to discuss nutrition as you are working with Titan Medical, I am here to discuss nutrition for you guys if you want some extra help.
That's awesome. Big value, guys.
Thanks, Johnny.
Later, guys. Thank you.